Hello, welcome to another video, and uh, I'm checking the website full of psychiatric articles. So I will select one interesting article to read. Let's check this one: the modulatory role of dopamine receptors in brain neuroinflammation, in the category of schizophrenia. So waiting website to be loaded. The modulatory role of dopamine receptors in brain neuroinflammation. So the journal is International Immunopharmacology, and it's a fresh article published in 2019, and they're from Nanjing city of China. So it looks like a review study, because the title doesn't really explain the goal of the studies, and they cannot really make such in-depth research article on this topic, and it says review. So highlights, let's read highlights. Dopamine receptors signaling pathways play a vital role in brain functions, and the activation status of microglia and astrocytes is related to dopamine. Neuroinflammation in brain disorders can be regulated by dopamine. That's interesting. Dopamine receptors may be a new therapeutic target for inflammatory diseases. So as you know, inflammatory theory of schizophrenia is quite popular, and dopamine is one of the main reasons. Dopamine dysfunctioning is one of the main reasons of why people have schizophrenia. So that's why they try to connect those topics and relate each other, and they use many variables related to immunology and try to understand why and how much schizophrenia people suffer from the disease. Neuroinflammation is a general pathological feature of central nervous system diseases, primarily caused by activation of astrocytes and microglia, as well as the infiltration of peripheral immune cells. Inhibition of neuroinflammation is an important strategy in the treatment of brain disorders. Dopamine receptor, a significant G protein-coupled receptor, is classified into two families, D1 and D2-like, D1-like and D2-like receptor families according to their downstream signaling pathways. Traditionally, dopamine receptor forms a wide variety of psychological activities and motor functions, such as voluntary movement. So tardive dyskinesia is a common disorder in schizophrenia patients, not a popular one, and so it's about they cannot control their movements. And it has something to do with dopamine receptors, and there are other theories that explain movement disorders in schizophrenia anyway. Working memory and cognitive dysfunctioning is also common in schizophrenia patients. Recently, the role of dopamine receptors in neuroinflammation has been investigated widely, mainly focusing on nucleotide binding oligomerization dopamine-like receptor, so NLRP3 inflammasome renin-angiotensin system, and as well as invading peripheral immune cells, including T cells, dendritic cells, macrophages, and monocytes. This review briefly outlined the functions and signaling pathways of dopamine receptor subtypes, as well as its role in inflammation-related glial cells, and subsequently summarized the mechanisms of dopamine receptors affecting neuroinflammation. Meaningfully, this article provided a theoretical basis for drug development targeting dopamine receptors in inflammation-related brain diseases. That is interesting, and the way it is, the way the approach seems not new, but the way of writing seems quite interesting. And if you want to search this article, you can use the title and Google it to find more information. And actually the literature on dopamine and inflammation is not very rich, so I think in the future those studies can explain more what we know about the psychiatric diseases like schizophrenia, and I think dopamine receptors have something to do with every diseases potentially, because it has such critical function. And so that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy and you will watch all other videos of me. Have a beautiful day.